Ryan Easley, an animal handler with ties to figures from the Netflix documentary, Tiger King, was fatally mauled by a tiger on September 20, 2025, involving doing what he claimed to love, working with tigers. But his death isn't just tragic, it's a story that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about our obsession with exotic animals, fame, and control over nature. Witnesses at the Growler Pines Tiger Preserve in Oklahoma say the show started like any other. Easley, confident, calm, performing with a tiger he had raised and trained. He had done this routine countless times. But then, in seconds, everything changed. A bite. A shake. A scramble for safety. By the time handlers reacted, it was too late. The trainer, who called himself an advocate for big cats, was gone. He was just 37 years old. A husband. A father. A man who believed he understood these animals better than most. And yet, the tiger did what tigers do. Easley's story is tied to the infamous world of Tiger King. He had bought animals from Joe Exotic, from Doc Antle, names that became household words during the Netflix frenzy. He toured the country with his big cats, showing them off, teaching tricks, earning applause. He wasn't just a trainer, he was part of the culture that made tiger shows profitable, controversial, and dangerous. He defended his work. He said he loved the animals. That they weren't prisoners but partners. He pushed back against critics who accused trainers of abuse and exploitation. But love doesn't erase danger. It doesn't rewrite the laws of nature. Animal rights groups like PETA say this tragedy was predictable, even inevitable. For years they've warned, take a wild predator, confine it, force it into human routines, and eventually it will lash out. They've cited photos of cramped cages, claims of whips and stress. They argue Easley's death proves the point: you can't train away instinct. A tiger is a tiger. The preserve, though, paints a different picture. They say Easley knew the risks. He wasn't reckless. He believed in what he was doing. To him, these weren't just animals, they were companions. He raised them, fed them, slept near them. He trusted them. But that trust is exactly what critics say is dangerous. When handlers mistake familiarity for safety, when passion blinds them to reality, the risk multiplies. And this isn't the first time. We've seen it before: Siegfried and Roy, when Roy Horn was nearly killed on stage by a tiger he had worked with for decades. Countless smaller cases at private zoos and roadside attractions, many unreported until tragedy struck. The pattern is clear: when you bring wild animals into human spaces, it's not if something goes wrong. It's when. So here's the controversy. Was Easley a victim of bad luck, or of a system built on denial? A system that profits off performances but shrugs when tragedy strikes. A system that celebrates trainers as animal lovers but ignores the reality that love doesn't make wild animals safe. And there's another hard truth: audiences enable it. People pay for the shows. They share the viral clips. They romanticize the idea of the human-tiger bond. And by doing so, we feed the very industry that critics say exploits animals and risks lives. Some will call Easley a martyr for conservation. Others will say he was complicit in his own fate. Maybe the truth is both. But one thing is undeniable: his death raises questions we can't ignore. Should private ownership of tigers and big cats even be legal? Should animal performances be outlawed altogether? Where's the line between passion and exploitation? And how many more tragedies will it take before laws catch up to reality? Here's the burning take: Ryan Easley's death was preventable. Not by locking him in a bubble. Not by wishing the tiger had acted differently. But by changing the system itself. By removing profit from wild animal shows. By holding operators to real, enforceable standards. Maybe even by ending the practice of using tigers for entertainment entirely. Because Easley's story isn't just about one man and one tiger. It's about how far we're willing to push nature for our own fascination, and what happens when nature pushes back. Ryan Easley is gone. His family is grieving. His community is shaken. But the questions his death leaves behind? They demand answers. And maybe the real tragedy is that we've seen this story before, and we'll see it again, unless we finally admit the truth: wild animals don't belong on a stage.